E-Service.
Good morning, campers. Well, today is a travel day. We're heading off to Nevada, and there's a 100% chance of rain on our entire trip. We do have to drive across a mountain pass. I'm just hoping that that's not snow on that pass. Shouldn't be, but we'll see. And we have to get gas before we leave, which brings up an interesting point on how do you make sure you don't get yourself into trouble when you pull into a gas station. Like I said in a previous video, it's really easy to go down the road and into a spot where you don't have enough room to turn around, or you're just in a dead end. And so it takes a little bit of research, even getting gas. Part of figuring out where to get gas is that you have to do your research and take a look at, a couple of things. Can you get the coach in the area that you need to get into? Are there any tight turns getting into the area? And is their roof tall enough? That's the hard part, is really knowing how tall that roof is. There's a lot of gas stations that will actually post the clearance on their roof, but there's also a lot that don't. And I need about 13 feet plus of clearance. And I've seen some gas stations that are below that, and so you have to be careful with that. So how do you figure that stuff out? I mean, that's kind of hard to do. The clearance part, I haven't figured out how to do that other than call the gas station directly. The other part, I use GasBuddy to take a look at exactly where all the gas stations are, the prices of the gas, and that kind of thing. And then once I find a gas station that looks promising, I use Google Maps and use the satellite view, and then I can zoom in onto the actual gas station and look at the roads around the gas station to determine whether or not I can get in. So I think I found a place to go today. It's a truck stop, so they should have a high enough clearance, and there should be enough room to pull around. I've never gotten gas at a truck stop before. There's a couple benefits to that. One of the bigger benefits is they have larger gas nozzles, and so you'll fill your tank faster that way. But I'm afraid that it also means that if it doesn't shut off properly, a lot more gas will come flying out of the nozzle, so or out of the filler hose. So I'm going to give that a try today. Well, there's different ways of traveling in an RV. Some people travel like we do in this, while other people travel in this. And the thing is, we're parked side by side, enjoying the same views, enjoying the same part of the city, can go out and have the same fun. So it's just, how do you want to live while you're in the RV park? For some people, that's great. For other people, you need this. Well, maybe you don't need this, but they have this. At least that's what we've got. One thing I can guarantee you is that this will be able to go places where this will not be able to go. So they will be able to go almost anywhere and be in really nice national parks or state parks where this does not fit. Made it to the truck stop. This place where you have to prepay, which is weird. There's no credit card kind of thing. But it's nice that there's plenty of room for myself and the big rigs in here as well. So plenty of room up there on the height of this place. Pretty noisy area though. Well, here we are in Pahrump, Nevada, about an hour away from Las Vegas. We're staying in a resort called the Preferred RV Resort. It's a pretty big park. Has a lot of nice amenities as well, so we'll take a look at those a little later. The rate here is pretty cheap. It was $10 a night plus a $3.50 resort fee. Now, I don't know what a resort fee is, but it's mandatory. You got to pay it, so I don't know why they don't just tell you what the rate is and charge you the rate. Instead, they say it's a resort fee. But I'm not complaining. I mean, it's pretty cheap, and this is a membership park, and that's why it's so cheap. We're about, like I said, an hour from Vegas here. So we have some friends flying into Vegas, and so we booked a couple of nights in a hotel in Vegas to hang out with them as well. So parking our rig here for the $13.50 per night, pretty good deal for parking. I'm all bundled up because it's about 45 degrees out here this morning, and later in the week they say it's supposed to get into the 20s. So it's quite chilly with wind chill, probably into the 30s right now. It is still a little bit windy, so not as warm as I thought it would be in this part of Nevada. We must be a little higher elevation than down in Las Vegas. We'll find out when we get to Las Vegas how that is. But right now, kind of cold. Nice little pond. What's funny over here is that sign. Yeah, no kidding. Horseshoes must be a big RVer sport, although I've never actually seen anybody play. Maybe a little later I'll see if I can get Barb to come out here and play some shuffleboard with me. They've got the pushing thingies right there, so all the equipment's here, but we'll probably have to wait for the court to dry out, if it ever will. She won't come out here if it's cold either, so have to find a perfect temperature and no rain in order to play. Looks like they even have a public barbecue here. Now, I brought my own, but if you wanted to be here with some friends and hang out and have a barbecue, I guess you could do it here. Let's see if this is nasty. Actually, it looks nice and clean. So maybe we can burn some steaks later. Nice area in here where it looks like they do some gaming and other kinds of arts and crafts. There's a sewing machine over there, so I'm sure they do quilting and that kind of thing in here. Nice tables here with what looks like poker tops there. So probably lots of activity in here later on. And here's another craft room in here. I can smell lumber in here. So I'm wondering, I'm going to walk down here around the corner and see what's over here. Oh. Workout room. Well, we won't be needing that. Aha. So here is the woodworking shop. So you can come in here and take care of all your woodworking needs. That's really cool. I mean, if I was going to stay here for a long period of time, there might be things that I would need to do in here. You know, if I needed to fabricate something for the motorhome. Looks like they have little pieces of 1x in here, and actually a few different sizes of wood and some really nice equipment to use. I'm guessing they also do classes in here as well. And that must be how they pay for the wood. Now we are an hour out of Vegas, and this is a pretty full park. And that red brick building down there in the distance, that's a casino. I'll probably head over there today and see if I can watch the Super Bowl there. What I found out since being here is that a number of these sites here are actually deeded or partially deeded pieces of land to the people who buy into a membership program. So I hear it's about $340 a month to stay here after you buy into their plan. And there's some nice spots here. Fifth wheels are a popular choice for people who are staying long term, just because your coach, your entire coach, is your living space. Unlike in a motorhome where the front part of the coach is the actual driving area. In a fifth wheel, it's all living area. So off to Vegas we go. Of course, we're not taking the coach. We're going to leave that here and just drive in. It's about an hour drive from here. And then we'll be at the Golden Nugget in the historic area of Vegas, meeting our friends. And then from there, I have no idea what we're doing. Down to Fremont Street. They're going to have the light show here, I guess, when it gets dark, which could be any minute. The zip liners coming down the zip line. Looks like fun. Well, we got a flat tire on the way down here, so now I have to go buy 4 new tires because I drive an all-wheel drive car. So that'll be something we'll be taking care of a little later. Today is February 5th, and this is how Barb dresses for an evening out in Las Vegas. Layer 1, Layer 2, Layer 3, and that's it. Yeah, it's cold out here. Who would think that we'd be chasing 70 degrees and find 38? Yeah. Spin the big wheel. Go. After losing our $20, we decided to go to the Neon Sign Museum
As of today, this museum is still under construction, so it's going to be improved as time goes on. It'll be really interesting to come back when you actually have the signs in a better position to be able to review and look at, and maybe they'll have more working by then. We weren't allowed to take any video, but we were allowed to take still shots with our camera. So the first sign that you can't help but see is the Hard Rock Guitar. After 28 years, the Vegas Hard Rock Cafe and Hotel was purchased by Richard Branson and is in the process of being rebranded under the Virgin name. The guitar, which is a representation of Pete Townshend's of The Who guitar, was the very first hard rock guitar built, and it stands about 75 feet tall. What's interesting is that pole that it's sitting on runs about 40 feet underground and is encased in concrete. And then all the lighting and everything is inside, and you have to crawl up inside to get that lighting to work. So they're working on the electrical system to get this up and running, so it'll be pretty spectacular once it's completed. There are a number of other signs that are just laying on the ground. Most of them don't work. However, they do have a night tour where they can use different colors of spotlights, and they shine them on the signs and then illuminates them in a way that makes it look like they're actually on. I understand it's pretty cool, but you want to be here at nighttime for that one. And in this sign, the Sassy Sally sign, if you look at the S's, they were made to look like dollar signs in the hopes that subliminally you'd want to go inside and spend more money. Is RCA still making TVs? I doubt a 45-footer would fit here. I'm thinking more like smaller Airstreams and trailers. We didn't get the guided tour, which I wish we would have done. There's a lot of history with these signs, and you just don't get that as you're walking around. So with a guided tour, you're going to learn a lot more about these signs and what they meant to Vegas. I was told that this was the very first sign in Vegas that advertised cocktails after Prohibition was lifted. Prior to that, it was illegal to have any sign that had the word cocktail on it. And here's the lamp from the Aladdin Hotel, and then the stars from the Stardust. Once the stars were added to the sign for the Stardust, it stood 188 feet tall, and it was the tallest sign in Vegas. That's it for our tour of the signs in the Neon Sign Museum. I'd recommend you go if you're in the area. It's actually pretty cool.
I got tired of hanging around stinky casinos, so here we are at the Red Rock Visitors Area. We're going to go ahead and take the loop and drive around, take a look at some of the scenery, so I'll try to capture some of that. We're going to walk into the visitor area first, get a little history of the place, and maybe I can share some of that information. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Here's the area we're going to drive. We're going to drive up that road, and then we'll pull off in some of the scenic viewpoints. Limestone was created under the sea about that time, and you can still find seashells. Well, I can't find seashells, but I guess people can find seashells fossilized in these rocks here. Then the wind and the rain and the oceans and the river is what's really formed these rocks into the way they are today. Makes you wonder about the people that lived in this area. The first hunter and gatherers showed up about 10,000 years ago. So even those limestones, 540 million years old, there weren't any humanoids here until about 10,000 years ago. And then about 5,000 years ago, the Paiutes and their ancestors showed up, and they lived up in these hills and some caves. I don't know if we'll see any on our drive. It would be really cool if we did. like to come back when it's warmer. Right now it's about 36 degrees out. With the wind chill, I'm guessing minus 45. Okay, well maybe not really that, but that's sure how it feels to me. This is just absolutely beautiful land. You can see, however, in some of this where the land was quarried until about the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. They were quarrying the sandstone. Sitting in the car waiting for Barb to get out of the quilt shop. We can't really pass one without her wanting to go in. So I'm just kind of hanging out here waiting for her to come out. I might be here a while. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and call the video here. If you would like to stay up to date with what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe and click that bell icon so you know when a new video is loaded. Give us a thumbs up. That would be really appreciated. And we will see you next time.
Service.